Hello, welcome to another episode of Full Circle with me, Onyx. And today's video is kind of how to decode the tarot deck. And you know, it's been a while since I've done videos, and I actually had a pretty good friend. His name is the Urban Alchemist. You can find him on Instagram, and he was the one who's actually inspired this video. And one day we were having a discussion, and because we both have a passion for the Hermetic style of occult magic and art and its teachings, the Hermetic principles. Uh, so he was telling me one day some of the insights he learned by just looking at the cards and seeing a particular pattern. And I never really noticed it, but it was a great observation. And then I let it all go. You know, I needed some space and I needed to just kind of like clear my mind, clear the canvas so I could freshly paint something new on it. So I had to like get away from all my friends, all my family, everything, just kind of everything, and just go to work, do the worldly thing. And part of the reason is because, yes, I have a personal life and I didn't know much about relationships and got totally heartbroken. Didn't know I was heartbroken. Didn't know I had to go through a grieving process. Didn't know that my body has to go through its own process. My emotions, my mind has to go through these things in order, in order to move on, in order to find center. So, life's kind of chaotic. Anyways, so I found myself doing what a lot of people do. Uh, Binge watch card readings by people who do card readings. And, I had a favorite for a while. He had a lot of insights, but I noticed nothing really gelled together. He would cryptically say something about the full moon and, Venus in retrograde and these star signs and relating to this card. And I could see he was getting some intuitive stuff too. But then, was there anything useful that I could take home with me and apply? In the moment, it sounds great. I'm like, yeah, and whoa, and okay. And then it just ended up to be a mystical cloud of entertainment. And I was like, then of course, get a reading and whatever. I was like, what is this all about? If you're pointing out constellations that aren't on the star map, that you've configured yourself through your own wisdom, how does that help me save my relationship? How does that help me deal with tomorrow and today? Does anything turn into facts? Can you actually make a prediction and it does come true? Oh, well, it's a general reading, so it may or may not apply with you. There might be cross watchers. So many ways we refrain from developing that predictive power of yes. On March 23rd, 2009, you're going to, a red car wreck, there's a strong possibility you're going to get a car wreck, or you are going to get a car wreck or something like that. When do we make these solid predictions, heavyweight predictions that are accurate? Well, that's a big question. When does any of this pan out? When does it turn into actual events? Or do we just wipe our hands clean with New Age philosophy and say, you have the power to choose. You can jump timelines, the quantum field. Hey, you know what? Before we knew all this, before this became the current song we all sing, people were making some heavy predictions, and maybe they were coming true. And maybe just because you have a deck of cards and you read the little pamphlet, you can't sew it together like a story. We all can't agree, because what we've agreed upon now is fiction. The spirit of tarot has died. So this is kind of a large, kind of vast introduction to something that's kind of going on. So I'm going to have to say, you might have to start analyzing the cards yourself, like the urban alchemist has done, relying on his own ingenuity, his own creativity, his own mind. Like, this isn't religion. Religion says you believe someone else and you follow the book, and whoever wrote that book must be an authority figure, must somehow have a power and insight greater than yours. And in a cult, it's not like that. In a true occult school, you say, okay, this was the book, but now let's open the floor to debate it. Or what is the new horizon? Where is the future of magic? What is the new math equation? What is the new ritual? What is the formula? How, you might revolutionize the way we do occult science, true magic. And so back to the drawing board. So a part of Western mystery school is the development of your psychic abilities. And that happens through meditation. That also happens through ritual. Ritual helps you focus, and the symbols you use should be of that focus. So, an example, if you want to cut open something, maybe the symbol would be a knife or a pair of scissors to cut it open. That would be the appropriate symbol of the action you wish to take. That is it. So symbols, in a weird way, harness and focus those energies of the desire. And it's not always an outcome. But anyways, so the mind is flighty. People say, I'm ADHD and whatever. Yeah, we're disorganized. Having a ritual helps align you and organize you and focus you. With the power of focus, you then automatically enter a state of meditation. There's different frequencies that are very popular, that have been, established as a truth: alpha, beta, theta, delta, and gamma, and whatever. So it seems like altered states of consciousness and your will equals magic. Kinda. Quantum fields, string theory, resonance equals magic, equals God. Kinda. So you kind of have to put all that to the side. I'm saying you're going to gather information, use it as you can, but then you also have to have the strength and the ability to put it down, to use your own mind. We're in the mystery. Life is a mystery. And in a weird way, it's not a question mark, but it is at the same time. It's kind of a paradox. So people are like, so we're kind of in a weird situation. you get to this point of, I want to know what's out there. I want to know. I'm so curious about the unknown. So there's that big question that you want answered. And it might have to do with the future if it's in the alignment of card readings and predictions. But it might be, I want to know how to work with energy. I want to know how to work with, how do psychic abilities work? How does this all happen? I want to know. I want to know. And you do learn and you do feel empowered, and it gives you the confidence and strength. But then you have to do what religion does not do: surrender to the unknown and let it be a mystery. The more I know, the more I know I don't know. The deeper more advanced with my meditation I get, the more I know there's so much more to meditation. The more enlightened I get, actually, the more I know there's endless levels of enlightenment. My mind is blown all the time. So the box just gets bigger and bigger, unfolds and unfolds, and more depth and more breadth, more awesome. And so then you just start to dance in the unknown, swim in the unknown, be okay with unknown. Everything doesn't have to be quantified. It's not so certain. So when we try to organize things and make it consistent into a system, we lose a lot of magic. And so, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. So all these correspondence tables, all this canonized magic that went around. So the great lodges went around and said, we're going to study from all these traditions and we're going to try to organize it and make a universal magical method. And as they did that, they lost a lot of magic. The other, it also happens. You have to screen, censor, and look out for what I call superstition. Superstition is the bastard child of fear. So when you're looking to things you don't know, people tend to be afraid. You can't, or you can't explain it, you can't understand it. Urban legends and superstitions come about, and that is destructive too, because it's just bogus. So you gotta kind of have you have to be aware, and you have to like filter out a lot of stuff. So the type of person that is ready for true occultism can be practical, can be rational, can be critical, and censor and filter stuff out. But then it also needs to be flexible, open-minded, and able to allow change, allow a new understanding, a revelation to happen, and go a whole new level. You have to be able to ascend. You have to transcend yourself. So what does this have to do with the cards and this? So I am thinking about my life. I'm thinking about my relationship. And I'm thinking about, what do I want? And where's the love? Where's the joy? And how come everything's so negative? And where's the pleasure? Where's this Venus energy? Where's this high priestess? Where's the seduction? Where is the hedonistic joy of living and being human in the flesh? How come it's taken this turn in my world? So the insights and revelations you're going to get have to, in a weird way, directly apply to where you're at on your journey and your experience, because direct knowledge is kind of happening. But so that, that's kind of like stirring the subconscious, and the image that keeps appearing, trying to make way while I live my daily life, is the Empress card. And then the Fool card. And I'm like, you know what? If the Empress transformed into a man, might look like the Fool card. And in the visions I was having, they were wearing identical patterned clothes, cut differently, one fit for their occasions. But I went, wait a minute. I think, because I'm just using my mind and memories and the images. I'm like, they have like the same pattern or the same colors in their surroundings. She's like, luxuriously laying out, draped in her robes with crown of stars and feeling pretty good in nature. That's very Venetian. And then I'm like, the full card, he's very Venetian. He's not in brags. He's in very nice clothing. And he's out in nature. And the sun is above him. And, the sky is yellow and whatever. So they're very connected, youthful, vibrant, full of sexual life. And then she's in that mother energy, abundance, and overflowing energy to give and to nurture, and she has total mastery of being nurtured and being nurtured. She's in total abundance of give and receive. She's very balanced that way. So I'm like, clue, So all this information comes to me. Like, there's only one character and many, you could say 22 stages of an experience. And in that immersion, in those experiences, there's this shape-shifting going on. Because the hermit is wearing robes, but they're very gray with no pattern, very plain. The mage, the wizard, he's wearing robes, red, with a garment of white underneath. However, and so I'm like, there's a lot of robes, and there must be a lot of symbolism shared here. And I'm like, there's a secret pathway between the fool, or you could say the child, and the mother, the Madonna, the Empress. And because their clothing is so similar, it might as well be the same. Two different perspectives, two different lenses, two different experiences, yet bound together through Venus. So, Venus is a facilitator of these two cards together and the meaning, so I'm like, there's a connection here. And these connections were happening all over the place. And so I'm like, learn how to read the cards. You got to learn to see the similarities and symbolism and how they pull together and are saying something. So, and then that becomes really important to producing a powerful card reading through symbolism. Intuition's one thing, logic is another. Put them together so you can actually read the cards. So a few videos back, I dropped a hint going, wait a minute. Really powerful characters are seated. They're seated. They have a seat. They have a throne. We have the high priestess. We have the empress. We have the emperor. We have the pope. We have justice. We have the devil. These beings are seated on thrones. So we're talking about a level of power that's pretty high up, the upper echelons of an experience, deity level, like cosmic, transcendent level. You could say the purest level, the strongest ray of this energy. And it's being represented by someone who has to sit, to hold that power and distribute it. To be it is to be seated in that power. So thrones, seats of power. Okay. And that was kind of really cool. And then I was like, And there's two other figures that are seated. The Death card it's a black knight riding a white horse. And then we have the Sun. It's a child riding a white pony or horse. So that's interesting because the four knights are riding horses, and now we have these two upper cards riding horses. So horses becomes very significant, but once again, they're seated and these beings have power. And are they the same character? Is the Sun, that youthful spirit, also what brings death? Isn't that what dies? Isn't that what we wish to keep alive? And isn't that what is reborn? And the horse is very much a fertility symbol, a symbol of strength and virility, fertility, dreams. So there's a sexual nature to the symbol of horse. So life, death, and rebirth, of course a horse is in there. Man's best friend, man's pretty much first vehicle is the horse. So there's a lot of movement and revolution, progress, innovation with these cards. And so, the Sun brings death, but it also brings life. And it does it like in the opposite way as a Death card. And so there's a connection there. There's a bridge. There's a secret pathway. There's an understanding. So you could go on and on about pillars. I just thought of the Moon card, and it has those two pillars. But the High Priestess has the two pillars. And then the High Priestess is wearing a moon crown. But the Moon card, obviously isn't wearing a crown. It has creatures. But we start to see parallels and symbolism. So the High Priestess and the Moon card, there's something interchangeable. There's something yin and yang about those two. And it's very much often confused. Does the High Priestess belong to Pisces, or do we give it to Cancer? Who do we give the High Priestess card to? Where does she actually belong? It's kind of a mystery. Who does keep the secrets? And what is the key? Is it the Moon? So much more going on than, is your lover going to come back? Do you need to, are you expecting a windfall of money? These like mundane predictions that I would say amateur card readers are doing online to get paid or get attention, create a name for themselves. Don't get access. Besides missing it, they don't get it. They don't get it here, but they don't get it here. They don't get it coming to them. Their cup is full. It's full of predictive knowledge versus esoteric knowledge, which you could really say is the knowledge of the soul, something beyond the surface, beyond material means. It's an information, but it offers connection, understanding. It just offers more depth to an experience. And so a lot of people turn to oracle cards or cards that have messages on them, or they shuffle and keep asking. Like I watch all these readers who have lots of followers, and they're just throwing cards out haphazardly, and they're asking for clarification, and they're asking, they'll go, what does this mean? The Devil card in the reverse position for outcome. What does it mean? Can we get some cards? Can we get Spirit to tell us? And I'm like, look at the card. Dissect the symbols. That flower, that black flag with the white flower, is pretty much on a staff, or even a javelin, and it's in the right side, upper right side or right corner of the card. Why is it there? It could have been anywhere. It didn't even have to be in there. Why? What is it saying? What is it pointing to? The symbol of peace is usually a white flag. Rose is love. White is death. Black is death. Yin and yang balance. It's a javelin. It's a staff. What is it? We know what it means for the outcome. Something has to die in order for something to live. What's coming towards you may come in the form of peace, but may be very deadly. Could be the enemy, the Trojan horse, effect. So with that card channeling right now, it's a big caution, caution. It's not, had nothing to, it's not all just endings. So some people will be like, oh, the devil card, they'll relate that one to abuse, alcohol, like the sins, someone engaged in that. Oh, really? Look at it deeper. So that's really what this video is about. Learn to dissect your card. How do you cut an orange? How do you cut a pizza? You can do it that way. And so standing figures, we have the Fool, we have the Wizard. So when you plug in the cards into the tree of life, whoa, the only two men at the top of the tree they're both standing. And the woman, she's seated. And who is this woman? It's the High Priestess. One moon facing the Fool, the other moon facing the Wizard, the intellect and the artist, the sensual side of art and love and dreams relating to Venus, and the masculine, force, willpower, Mars, Mercury, and so forth, And so, she is the balance. She is, in a way, she is the Yusad. She is the moon. She is the vessel of the upper realms. So you can go, if you're going to learn these arts, you got to learn to put them together. So standing figures, but bent, strength. Standing figure with a hunch, hermit. You could say the hangman is standing upside down. Death is standing with assistance of a horse. Temperance, she's standing, but it looks like one foot or toe is in the water. The Star card is kind of kneeling, but kind of standing. The Lovers, they're standing. The Devil card has the two lovers once again. They are standing. But the Devil is seated in a seated position. Judgment is standing. The World card. Oh, what's standing in Judgment is the three people popping out of their coffins. They're standing. The World card looks like she's standing out in space, or even dancing. So why are these cards the standing cards? Why do they not get thrones? That's the question. The other thing is really weird, just simple observations. Many of the cards of the upper higher arcana have crowns, and the ones that don't have a celestial body looking down upon them, So if they don't get a crown of some type, there's a star or there's a sun, or if that crown is not as significant, like just a wreath around their head, they may get the sun or the stars. And then, and so what would that say? If you're not, if you don't have the glory of the crown slash halo, you know, if you have not united with this higher power, if you have not become that vehicle, well, then that vehicle is above you looking out for you. And in the negative, you know, obviously you're drawing way too much attention to yourself. Not all attention is good attention. So, cards with other people in it, cards with animals. Why? And then the confusing cards, kind of half animal, half human. Why? You know, why does the Hierophant, the priest, have two people below him? You know, how come the devil has the two lovers? How come the fiery angel has the two lovers? You know, so they're kind of interactive. They're kind of working between the worlds from above and below. They're interceding, or there is intercession that needs to happen, you know? And so those cards are very significant. How about the Tower card? No celestial being, no crowns, no divine animals, but there is a lightning bolt in the upper right corner, and the tower is falling. It's not two towers, it's one. And it's people falling out. I think there's just two people. That could be the lovers once again in a breakup. But it's kind of, there is no blessing here. The hand of God is a lightning bolt, you know. And so, very interesting. How about cards with the figures have something in their hands? You know, the wizard has one wand, but the world has two. Temperance has two cups, you know, doing some alchemy of balance. The judgment or justice card has the sword and the scales, two metal objects. The cups are two gold cups, metal objects. So there's a lot of things. There's a lot of scepters, a lot of staffs, you know. So some people only are using one hand. Other people have both hands occupied doing two different tasks. That's telling you a lot of things. Sometimes you got to look at their finger positions. So the Rider-Waite deck hid a lot of things in just the body language.